Join Tara and Alyssa as they explore the intersection of business, lifestyle, health, and wellness. Whether you're an entrepreneur, a wellness enthusiast, or someone seeking a meaningful life, this podcast delivers insights and inspiration for living your best life, because true success is about more than just the bottom line. To stay up to date on our latest episodes, be sure to subscribe and like us on our channel and follow us on LinkedIn or Instagram at The Business of Living Well. Hi guys, welcome back to season 2 of The Business of Living Well. We have had a little change of scenery. We are filming at Tara's fresh location downtown, which is super exciting.
Yeah. I'm glad that we're not doing it in my living room anymore.
Yeah.
I've upgraded. This is an upgrade.
We'll take it. Well, today our first guest of the season was Michael Bloom. We had an incredible interview with him. It went really good.
Yeah. He is doing amazing things in our community, even from when he was a police officer and the impact that he was making there, and then now even making a bigger impact in something that he's very passionate about.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll see that today, that he's just really immersed in it and trying to get the community immersed as well, and trying to impact the community in such great ways.
Yeah, he has a lot of good things to say, a lot of fun ways to get involved. So we'll put his contact information or a way to get a hold of him if you guys want to volunteer or donate or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's going to take us along to juvie or the jail, he said, to the homeless shelter. So we're excited to see the other side of it. And if you are also feeling called to do that, then I would highly suggest you reach out to him and get in touch.
Exactly. Michael Bloom, welcome to The Business of Living Well.
Dude, I'm honored to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
We're so excited to have you. You are a husband, a dad, a former police officer, and now someone who has already made such a large difference in our community as an owner of the nonprofit Hip Hop and Hope.
Yes. We've been running Hip Hop and Hope for the past 3 years. My wife, Casey, and I. We've had a tremendous time doing that. Excited to talk with you guys a little bit more about that and what we do. And have 4 beautiful children, Joelle, Rondo, Brooks, and Kendrick. And they're the loves of our lives and the passion of our lives, too. So, that's where we are right now.
So much. Okay, well, like Tara said, so you were obviously a police officer prior.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that pivotal moment? Like, what led up to quitting that and going and starting a nonprofit? Like, what was that moment that made you decide that you were going to switch that career?
You know, it's funny. I don't know if you two can relate, but there was a time in law enforcement when I was like, I'm going to do this forever. Mm-hmm. I was like, this is my sweet spot. And then we started working in the juvenile hall in Moorhead with kids who were incarcerated, also some of them in extended foster care because they couldn't find homes for them at the time. And so what turned into hip-hop shows, then turned into basketball and donuts, turned into cookouts. Over time, I just felt like, man, when I'm here, I'm home, and I just love working with these kids. But what I realized in my heart that was stirring was I love this population of people who feel forgotten. When you're with them, you see their God-given talents, you see their gifts, and you're like, wow, like these young youth are closer than they think to change and transformation. And so over time, just being there a couple of years, I started talking to my wife about it. We started praying about it because it was a big deal. I had like almost 10 years in the police force. I just had a lot of seniority and a lot of, I had a pension built up. I was just in a sweet groove like for the next 10 to 12 years of my career. But I also was thinking in my heart, man, I want to be so, not young, but like my spirit is very young still. My energy is very high still. And I was like, if we're going to run this and run it hard, I want to have the fire in my heart and the ability just in going at my age. And so my wife and I talked about it for a while, and we made the jump. So that was it. It was like the easiest, yes, but also just it's hard to leave something you were so connected to because I loved my time at the Fargo Police Department too.
Absolutely. I love that. With your time at the police department, did that shape the way that you approach people struggling now at all?
Yeah, I would say so. Growing up, I got a lot of how I am, like how I'm wired from my dad. my dad always had a heart for people. I remember as a kid, we'd be in Modesto, California. I'm from the Central Valley of California, in a city called Modesto, and it's quite the melting pot of people who come from the Bay Area or Southern California. And I remember it'd be like a Thursday afternoon, and we'd see a homeless person, and he would just turn around and go to a Jack in the Box or a McDonald's. He's like, we're going to feed them. And, you know, it was a time of just like, there's no cell phones. There's no one to see what you're doing. He's like, we're just going to buy them food and bless them. And he'd also see gang members or people he thought could be associated with gangs. And he used to carry these gospel cassette tapes. They were like rap, though. So, like, you know, it's like the tape you put in and turn it over and put it in. And because we used to drive his old Chrysler, and that's what he'd roll in. And I remember we'd go up to, like, gang members, my dad and I, and he'd be like, maybe they weren't gang members, but they looked like they were, like, kind of living a street style of life. And he'd say, man, God loves you. I love you. You'll love this music. Take this. And it was always well received. It was like, it didn't matter who it was. I think when you're there to do well, no one really feels like, you know, there's no harm involved. And it's like, that stuck with me throughout my life. Just that, like, mindset. So.
Well, your dad sounds amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah, he is great. He is great.
Okay, we need to ask, why hip hop? What made you put that in the name, and how does that bring people together? Yeah.
That's so good, and it kind of it goes back to your question originally. So when I was working in law enforcement for the Fargo Police Department, they kind of gave us some space to create a culture in the community with the Fargo PD of how to outreach and connect with kids. And for me, hip hop has always been a language since I was a kid. I remember being like 6 years old, rapping to a karaoke machine, like in my house, like during the summertime, like putting in a VHS and rapping to it. And my dad loved hip hop. And so I feel like hip hop is something that connects anybody in any space or place. It's like a universal language. And I remember, so when Michael Brown passed away in Ferguson, Missouri, there was a lot of tension in the country. And I remember thinking, like, what's the best answer to bring unity, to unite people? And in one of our first Party in the Parks we hosted on the Madison neighborhood up north, we had a live hip-hop show. And we had people from the Somali community in full hijabs. We had people from the faith communities of, like, Christian, Muslim, Buddhists, people from Nepal, people from Bhutan. Like, we had the whole world out there, and we were all Cupid shuffling together and all dancing together and all rapping together. And so it's like, when you see something work, you're like, man, this is just like a gift. Something about hip hop, something about movement. And it even transfers, like, just like, long story short, when I started Hip Hop and Hope, one of the first prisons we went to was in California. And I'll never forget, it was one of my first events, so I was a little nervous, like anyone is whenever they do something new. And this guy came in, bald head, full of tattoos, and he was just intimidating looking, like a lot of guys are when you meet him for the first time in prison. And a lot of large guys came in, and they all sat. And I remember when the music started, man, it was like ice broke, and people started moving slowly. Even though they didn't want to, like, show it, they were just moving and listening, and then the artist would rap, and all of a sudden, it's like walls came down. So once I saw hip-hop work, I just kept working it. I was like, I feel like this works every time. It doesn't really matter where we go with it.
It's awesome how I feel like music just in general can bring people together, and
yeah,
so awesome.
Yeah, and I remember even, like, it's funny because I classify myself when I was a cop as a white police officer because people would be like, this white cop likes to rap. But I remember even going, like, to Microsoft or different businesses, and they would, like, enjoy if we rapped for them. Or I remember we made a music video with a bunch of kids, and we brought Blue Cross on. We brought a couple other businesses on, and they were all in the rap video. So it was funny. I think people were just like, yeah, I'll be in it. Like, it was just like a fun way to, like, blend people. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And blend them into a collaboration in the community.
I feel like I've noticed that, like, over the years, music is always one thing that brings people together.
Yeah.
No matter what ethnicity, no matter what kind of music you're listening to, like, there's always a beat that you can all kind of come together and bounce around to.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I love that.
Sure.
So you said your dad used to bring you around and you'd give out cassette tapes to people in the community, and they were faith-based music, you said, right?
Yeah, faith-based rap. Yeah.
So faith obviously has been a big driver for you and a big kind of pillar for you.
Yeah.
How have you stayed grounded in that throughout the years of, I mean, even in the police academy when you decided to make this big change, how have you stayed kind of grounded in that?
That's a great question. Man, Jesus changed my life when I was 18. So I just like tell people, it's like Jesus is like really real to me. It's not like from a religious standpoint, but just like a relational standpoint. I was really in a hopeless space, very hopeless, and I had a lot of issues internally. And I remember just like finding freedom in the Lord that I didn't know existed. But it's funny because like in the terms of like in Christian culture, you get saved, but it's like you still feel like you're kind of screwed up. And so I remember for a long time, I was like, I feel like God had to work to run away, possibly leave the state and be on his own, which has like just so many factors of like risk written all over it. So those things were so hard. It was like, you know, and then trying to rebuild that relationship after he feels like you broke his trust.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and it's like you didn't even want to, but I remember specifically that happened a couple of times, but then you're like, not to go too deep, but you're like, this is where human trafficking starts. This is where these kids, when they leave states, this is where addiction, traffic, like this is how it happens. And so it's like, we got to get them back. And those kind of situations were hard to be the enforcement, but you knew in your spirit, like you knew in your gut, you're like, this is right. But it was difficult, where now it's like we can love them through, and I don't have to be an enforcer though. And from that perspective. Yeah.
That. Obviously been working as a police officer and now on the nonprofit side. What's kind of like, when you look at Fargo, what do you see as some of our biggest needs right now? And what can people maybe do to help that out a little bit? Obviously, like, I mean, we've talked about the homelessness, some of just the drugs and alcohol addiction out there. What are you seeing a lot now?
It's a great question. Fargo's not as bad as some people try to say it is. It's so interesting lately, especially just with some incidents and issues downtown in the evening time. But I think Fargo is still a really strong city with great community. I love this city. I love this town. I love the people here. I think we just have good leaders. Everyone has a problem with a leader until they're the leader and realize how hard it is to deal with all the problems leaders have to face. Absolutely. So I just say that in the sense of like understanding, like from government down, like I know a lot of our leaders get judged, but no one has to deal with the problems that they're always trying to deal with. So it's really hard to be right when you're the leader. So I think it's broad. You know, I don't want to go down a rabbit hole on this talk. You know, I wish we had more protection in our schools in our city, but I think that's more of a national thing. But I have kids in school, and I just think society kind of sleeps on that issue in every city until it happens to a city, and then people talk about it. I mean, like I said, we could go on a rabbit trail, but it's like for all the talks going on, it's like you can't legislate evil, you can't legislate addiction. I mean, you can try, but it's like this brokenness that people are facing. It's so many issues are so much deeper than people, I think, realize. So you asked a great question. It's so hard for me to answer it.
It is hard.
Yeah.
It's a very broad question, I think.
But it's great. Because I think a lot of it too is really like is connected to people's passions. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of that too though has to do with your phase of life.
Yeah.
Like if I didn't have children, I don't know if I'd be thinking about schools the way I think about. But I think when you're married, when you're single, when you have kids, when you don't, you're wired differently to think about things differently. So based on your phases of life.
Yeah.
So
within the community, you do have some opportunities for I'm trying to think of the word for like helping you guys out.
Yeah, for volunteering.
Volunteering. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
For volunteering, you said you deliver 2,000 to 3,000 cookies this upcoming season during the holidays.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that for anyone who's listening and wants to give back to the community?
Yes. So in the past with Hip Hop and Hope, we've done large cookouts for the incarcerated. In the past, we've like smoked brisket, smoked chicken, done beans and cornbread, and then like we'll go to the juvenile hall and serve a big Christmas dinner to like 60 kids. Last year we made chicken Alfredo for 300 of the incarcerated individuals at the Cass County Jail. But I was like, man, this is fun, but it's a lot of work. Sometimes it's really expensive depending on how much meat we have to buy. And I'm like, how can we get maybe more people involved? And it's like, who does not love cookies, bro? Come on. So I was like, it's not going to be that expensive. We can have a bunch of volunteers join in shifts to bake them. at a commercial kind of kitchen space we have available to us. But not only that, then we can have the people come and deliver with us. So like they can come to the homeless shelter, they can come to the juvenile hall, they can come to the jail. If it's ladies, we'll have them just in the ladies unit. If it's fellows, we'll have them in the fellows unit. And just to greet guys, greet women, and tell them Merry Christmas. That if they're people of faith, they can say God loves you, we love you. However they want to say it. But just to encourage, but also give back and meet people where they are and show them God's love. So that'll be this holiday season for sure.
I love that so much because I think sometimes we get so disconnected from the other side or the people who have gone down that path.
Yeah.
And it's nice to have that opportunity to be able to go in there, talk with these people. They are people, and be reminded that they're people. Mm-hmm. And for them to see the other side too of like, I can make a change, because every person is only one decision away from a different life.
Oh, so true, man.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So I was at a shelter once in Fargo, and it's like you never know, like someone you're connected to could be connected there. Mm-hmm. And this young man was there, and he greeted me like he knew me. And I was like, it wasn't bad. I was just like, I don't know if I know this young person. And so we talked for a while, and then he mentioned who one of his family members was, and I was like, no way. And just loved on him and encouraged him. We do birthday celebrations there, so like when the day room, we did some birthday stuff. But I just remember thinking, like, this is so wild. It's like someone that you're connected to could even have someone that's connected to that world because of addiction, because of mental health, and the people that are connected to people in that world, man, their prayer is just like, man, help my child or help my sister or my brother, like get free of this. Because for so many people who are in those spaces, they didn't start there. Some of them did in the sense of like at a young age, but a lot of them got there through different unfortunate phases in life. So just trying to love them and meet them where they're at.
Absolutely. I think we forget how privileged we are sometimes, and it's literally happening to our neighbor or in our back door. So even just when I was doing nursing, like I was seeing it a lot more, and now that I'm out, I just don't think about it as often.
Sure. Which
is maybe good and bad, but I think just being aware and maybe helping with the cookies and realizing they are people too is super important.
Yeah. And restoring value too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because I think sometimes people, when they give up, they kind of have given up until someone shows up and almost like resparks their heart, resparks their identity. And so I think that's the thing is like, man, people almost need that respark, that restart. And that's what we try to provide people with, like a rebrand, a refocus. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Okay, well, we were just talking about how people can get involved. I think one thing is some people just don't even know where to start, or we talk about all of this stuff all the time, but we don't necessarily put our words into action. So I guess what's some advice that you would give someone who feels stuck between good intention and actually starting to go out and do something?
I think it's realizing, man, to just have the courage to step out and believe in whatever your passion, like walk in how you're wired to walk. Mm-hmm. I really think that's what it is, and just have the courage to carry that out, and just realizing wherever that is. Like for me, my niche and how I'm wired is to help people who I feel like are hurting and in hard places, who almost can't help themselves. But that's not everyone's niche. Like I feel like you really have to like walk how you're wired and work that out and really like write out on paper. But don't just write it, recite it. And after you recite it a couple of times, like, this is what I love. This is the population I'm excited to work with. Run with it. Go for it. And start super small. Start so small. We have a new initiative with Hip Hop and Hope that we're going to hopefully initiate here in like a couple weeks, where we want to come out on like a Friday night downtown at like 1 a.m. we'll start, or 12 a.m. And we want to give out free burgers to like all the people walking and drinking and whatever.
Oh, they will love you.
And and we want to have a sign that says free prayer. And we want to invite people that if they want prayer for anything, because these times in our world are very like anxious and overwhelming, that someone will just pray for them and encourage them in life. And that's literally our vibe. Like I felt that. I feel like people want prayer. People want hope. People want encouragement. And I was like, man, we just got to show up with a Blackstone and see what happens. And we'll grill burgers. And if no one takes a burger, if no one wants prayer, we'll show up 2 more times, 3 more times. And if people love it, we'll keep showing up. And if they don't, we'll try something new. But I think there's nothing wrong with like failure. Just keep flowing. Like, but you just got to go. You just got to start small and go. So like, I'm always like thinking of like the new thing. And sometimes the new thing is a really good thing. And sometimes it's like, that didn't work as I thought it would work. But I think a lot of adults are just trapped. Man, their whole world has nothing to do with anything they care about really outside of like just kids and sports and travel and work, lake, and then your kids, I don't know, it's like we're wrapped up in this thing of almost like meaningful meaninglessness. So I don't know. I just think that, because when it's all said and done, it's like, I don't know what's the show for all that if that's all we do.
Yeah.
So
I love this conversation so much. I feel like when, like a lot of parents, they become parents and then they get so honed in on being a parent.
Yeah.
And it's when their kids go to school or graduate, they have no idea what to do with themselves.
Yeah.
Or same thing with, I feel like there was a generation before, like my parents' generation, where they get into a job.
Yeah.
They've been there for 10 years. They don't want to leave because they don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
And I feel like even with me, I spent probably 10, 12 years looking for what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. And I was so unhappy, anxious, depressed, all of that time because I just did not feel aligned in life. So I feel like when you actually go out, find what you're aligned in life with, and it's changing every day too. I mean, I started this year, so it's constantly changing. But I think when you're realigning yourself with what makes you happy and what God puts in your life, I think you're so much happier and so much more fulfilled. So
Yes.
I love that. I love that you brought that up because I'm a big believer in do what makes you happy, even if it's different tomorrow. Just do it.
I love it. I love it. And just like set some small, bold goals and go for them. And I remember one of the best mentors I ever had always said one thing that always stuck with me is that more is caught than is taught. And so even when you have kids, bringing them along on your passions and not just teaching them about the good in the world, but let them do good with you.
Yeah.
We brought our kids to the shelter before for a celebration of birthdays at the homeless spot. And I don't expect them to love working with homeless people. I just want them to see that there's homeless people in the world. Yeah. And just like have them see like what does brokenness look like. And then my daughter is really big on right now. She is like, can we do infant foster care? And I said, no, we cannot because we have 4 kids and you and your mother always say we can take a kid in and then it sounds bad, but give the child back to social services. And I'm like, no one's going to want to give this kid back and we're going to end up with like 9 kids in our home and I can't do that right now. But I'm already seeing her passion to help young people. It's like she literally just brought it up in the car. She's like, Dad, could we ever do infant foster care? Like, can we do it? And, but I want to tap into that and try to bring her along. Like I brought her along my school assemblies and she's like run sound for me and has seen the work we've done with children. So I think just bring your kids with you. Like more is caught than is taught. I just feel like it's so much more beneficial to do things as a family than to just like be so sucked into sports. And I'm not against sports. My kids play sports. But man, our American culture is just like,
that's their whole
it's
life.
caught up in the cycle of sports.
It is,
Yeah. And then when it's over, it's just over.
They don't know what to do with
It's like the last day of work. Yeah, it's just over. There's no celebration. They just move on.
Yeah.
And that mentor who taught me more is caught than is taught. Before he died, he literally was in his 60s and started a nonprofit. Wow. So he had a passion, and this was who he was. For 30 years, he led teams of church people to the south side inner city of Chicago. He led them, and it got to the point where like church groups from Montana and South Dakota and Minnesota would come and we'd all go out, 150, 200 kids, and serve people for a week, especially kids in the inner city. And then he left his ministry role like in his 60s, and it's like, I'm just going to start a nonprofit now. And his whole goal, it was called Reach the Heart, was to reach the heart of people in rural communities in North Dakota. So any town with like 1,000 or less, he wanted to go there and do a cookout and a community event.
It's amazing.
And I just say that to say it's like that's how I want to be. Like I really looked up to his lifestyle. Like in my 60s, in my 70s, I'm still inventing. I'm still growing. I'm still going until it's over, you know?
Yeah, I love that. I'm the same way.
Yeah, which I think is good. It shows that you're constantly learning and not becoming like staying still, and you're finding, like for you, you're finding what other problems, where else can you help these people, whether it's college kids or the homeless population. So I think that's super awesome. Okay, I've heard you speak a couple times now, and one, I think you said this at both, pretty sure it was at both things. You said if you're not dead, then you're not done. What does that mean to you?
I feel like a lot of people who have been incarcerated find themselves in a spot where they're just completely done. It's over. They're so tired. And some of the beautiful women we worked with, and I say beautiful in the sense of like, they don't hear that enough. They've lost a lot of their value. So we always try to encourage them that they're beautiful, they're loved by God. But a lot of them have lost rights to their children. And so they hit a rock bottom so hard that they don't know how to get back up. And we just always try to remind people over and over, if you're not dead, you're not done. If you're not dead, God's not done. Like God kept your pulse going because he still has a purpose for your life. And so we just try to reiterate that over and over, time and time again. But I think sometimes like starting over can make you feel dead on the inside.
Yeah.
Divorce can make you feel dead on the inside. Losing a child at a young age can make you feel dead on the inside. Like, how do I get back up when I feel so stuck? And it's just telling people, no, like you're not dead, like you're alive, so you're not done. And you just day by day got to brick by brick rebuild. And so that, to me, that's like the heartbeat. Because it's really easy to find yourself in a place like that based on what life throws at you. Because even if you love God, I mean, life can still really hurt. Loss can still really happen. And we just try to encourage people in any space they're in.
Oh, I love that.
I think that's just a good lesson for anyone, like going through any hard time. And even if you don't know where to start, it's just like you're not done. And it may seem like you're stuck and there's no future right now, but I think purpose is a huge driver in anything that you do. And if you've kind of lost that, you can go into a really deep place, which is why you're there to remind them that they're not.
Amen, man. Amen. And deep down, too, I think if people are ever looking for purpose, the greatest place to start is people.
Oh, absolutely.
Like to just pursue someone through a text message and say, I just want to tell you that I love you, I'm proud of you, I'm praying for you. It's like uplifting words, encouragement is like such a medicine.
Yeah.
It's a medicine. Like it's one of the greatest methods of healing or life-giving. I think it's just our words. Because even with adults today, I just find like the most fruit in my life is when I feel like I'm called to encourage people. Because I think as adults, we don't encounter encouragement. We just encounter discouragement so much more often. So,
True.
I just think if you're looking to start somewhere with a purpose, just start with people.
Yeah, I love that. Speaking of people, can you tell us an impactful story or way that you have impacted someone along the lines of starting Hip Hop and Hope?
Man, that's a great question. I mean, there's quite a few. A couple I would say right now are at the North Dakota State Penitentiary. I was just messaging a gentleman. So basically, like if you're incarcerated, you can send what's like an email, even though it's not an email, but it's through a special platform that the Department of Corrections offers. And so I was just talking to a young man, and he and I have really been connecting back and forth for a while. And then when we've gone to NDSP, the North Dakota State Penitentiary, he and I have really connected well at those times. He's been involved in our events, our hip hop events, our fitness events. And he just messaged me and is like, Michael, I'm getting out soon. And I just registered for the Fargo Marathon in 2026. I'm going to run it. I was just like, let's go, bro. So he's been training in prison for a half marathon, and they're all going to run it together. And so I feel like just stories like that are wins to just stay connected with these guys and see, like NDSP is actually really producing rehabilitative men there. It's really positive to see. Another unique one is, dude, this is just like a God story, bro. This is like, when you're in law enforcement, you see people at the lowest of their lows, and some of them in addiction and alcoholism, you're like, unless there's like a divine miracle, this person will die this way. They just will. they are so hopeless and so addicted. And there was a friend of mine who I would always work with him. Sometimes we'd wrestle a little bit. Sometimes I'd take him to detox, sometimes whatever it was. But, I remember on 10th Street once, like we kind of got into it almost because he was intoxicated and just acting unique. And recently I've ran into him and connected with him at church, and he's been sober. He's been safe. And he dabbed me up the other day and just said, "I love you." And I said it to say because then he looked at me and he goes, "I don't really say that very often." I think he kind of caught himself by surprise. And but it was just cool, man. I was like, praise God. And then he just walked away. And it was just like, you never know what God can do. You never know what someone's story is going to become. It really meant a lot to me when I saw that. And I'm still seeing the fruit in his life and the growth he's making. And so those are some stories, man. There's also some great ones in the juvie with kids, and just like the consistency we've seen with kids and some of them and the growth they've made. Yeah, I mean, in juvie, if you ever want to volunteer with us, come to juvie with us. Play volleyball with the girls. Do an ice cream party with the guys. Like, juvie is my favorite place to probably be with those kids and really rally behind them and see just these life-giving individuals. I love going to juvie to visit those people, so it's amazing.
Love that. Yeah, that's awesome. So, okay, the state penitentiary, I can't say it, state penitentiary. Can't talk. Anyways, is there going to be like people that are there, like lifers there? Is it harder to get through to some of those people that maybe feel like they don't have a purpose anymore? Do you work with those types of inmates?
Yeah, we do. So just for clarity, because a lot of people may not know, North Dakota has 2 female prisons. Okay. And then it has 2 male prisons. And the male prisons are in Jamestown. Well, actually, it has 3 male prisons. Jamestown, Bismarck, and Bismarck. So Jamestown is for usually men who have 11 years or less on their sentence. I believe it's 11 years or less. And then the state penitentiary has anywhere from orientation, they call it, for like the first month, to life in prison, which there are several men there who are doing life in prison. And then they also have the farm on the other side of Bismarck, they call it, which is 3 years or less. Okay. And that one is really like to set men up to come back to society. And then the 2 women's prisons are in New England and Mandan. And they're also building a new one, I think, for all the women in Mandan. But several of my friends in prison are lifers. And it's unfortunate because prison ministry is what we do, but I also know there's always a victim behind a life sentence, victims for people who have lost loved ones. And so I would say there's like a healthy tension there too, because I love to love people and see their life change and get rehabilitated, but I also just know there's victims attached to those stories. And so a lot of the men in NDSP, there's just like a movement happening there right now of leadership, development, growth from the faith side to the community side. It's kind of unique. I would say North Dakota State Penitentiary is a unique place where men are growing, which I don't think is very common in other prisons right now, from all the wonderful programs they offer. So it's been great to see.
Awesome. North Dakota is doing something right.
They are, man. They're doing a great job. Yeah. You guys got to come to prison with me sometime.
I actually would love.
Let's go. Cookies, then prison, then juvie. We're going.
Yes.
Love it.
So this was amazing today. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm honored.
Your story.
Yeah.
So we always end with the same question.
Great.
What does living well mean to you?
Living well, it's a great question too. I would say living well to me would be loving God and loving people authentically. Just like what you see is who I really am. Towards people, towards you, towards everyone, my wife, my kids. So living well to me is just loving God, loving people authentically. There's no 2 sides. There's no like fake Michael, real Michael. There's just like, hey, I'm not a perfect person, but I'm going to do my best to love and encourage you every day.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's a great answer.
I feel like you're a great example of when God opens a door for you, no one can shut it.
Amen, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
I love it, man. When God is for you, no one can be against you. So you just like flow with it, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And take the opportunities as they come. Yeah. Well, thanks, Michael. This was so fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, and yo, come get juice at the juice spot, 623 MP Avenue. Get juice. Shameless plug. Let's go. Buy a house. Buy a house. Let's go.
Love it.
Shameless plug.
Commercial space.
Yeah.
Commercial. Start a business. Edit that house out part.
Buy a
Start
house from Tara.
a business.
Buy the building for me.
Yes, let's go.